And you only get the iPod if you answer the questions in a positive way.
Perfect.
You know how they start off now, do you solemnly swear to tell the whole thing? All right, now is your testimony this morning going to be affected by the fact that you get a free iPod from this?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, this is just for the... okay, so may I have your legal permission? We're going to interview mom and baby, mom and daughter. We have a former MGB patient, and we have a future MGB patient, and you're special because you're going to be an outpatient, and I think we have to figure out what number you are. I think it might be in the 70s. Sandy thinks maybe in the 60s, of folks that have been able to have the outpatient MGB. And I told you yesterday that sometimes some of our outpatients come back the morning after to get checked and they look a little rugged, having missed out on getting the overnight narcotics. So you're prepared?
I am prepared.
All right.
I can do anything.
That's good. And Mama, you're special because you used to be a pretty severe diabetic.
That's right.
And I think you told me yesterday you were taking around between 100 and 200 units of insulin a day.
Yep, 4 shots at least.
And then you had an MGB.
That's right.
And that was how long?
And now it will be a year on the 30th, so in a couple of weeks it'll be a year.
Okay. So you are a year from your MGB,
Correct.
and now you're taking occasional doses of insulin.
I take about 10 units if my blood sugar goes above 180. It's
Right.
been my threshold. And I've gone 5 weeks
Okay.
between shots in the
So you're
recent
not
months,
cured of
so-
diabetes yet,
No,
at 1 year.
right.
Right. You wish you were.
I really wish I was.
But now, would you say over the past months that this month or November was better than June?
Oh, definitely, yes. It's kind of slowly drifted. It's, you know, the blood sugars come down.
Okay.
I check it every day.
And you do like a fasting blood sugar in the morning?
I do fasting in the morning. Sometimes, you know, because I eat more often, it's hard to get a 2-hour or 3-hour lapse of time
Right.
to where I can check it and really
So
know
if
that's
we
a
look
reasonable number.
prior to surgery a year ago, in the morning, most of the time your blood sugar fasting in the morning would be around what?
It was generally, you know, unless I had really dosed with insulin the night before, it was generally over 200. I had a really hard time keeping control.
So it's difficult to control, is that fair to say?
Yes, very difficult.
And most mornings, if I heard you right, it'll be 200-ish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And in June, about 6 months, the average morning blood sugars were in the what range, would you say? 180s?
Probably, yeah, because I kind of lowered my threshold, you know, as I
And you were taking
went.
less insulin at the time.
Yes, lots less.
So,
By
but-
then I was taking,
Right,
maybe
but so
every
instead
2
of
or
the
3
200s,
days
it was like the
instead of-
180s by 6 months.
yes.
And now, most mornings in November, it was like what?
It's almost always 130 to 150.
Okay.
I haven't seen lower than 130, and that's what I keep hoping for.
Right. So we're not
I know
cured
that's
yet.
not right.
But like we talked about yesterday, one of the things that's exciting, and I'll mention it again for the video, is that the research suggests that with the bypass, you're going to get hyperplasia or growth of the beta cells that make insulin. And so we're optimistic that you're going to be in our 93%. And that is, our research showed that at 3 years, 93% of our diabetics are off their diabetic medicine. So, and you're getting close. Is that right?
I am.
Yeah.
I can go 4 or 5 weeks without just taking a 10-unit shot, which
Right.
it was 120 units at a time. So
Good.
that's amazing.
Good. Good.
Miraculous, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I
and
really
that's
do.
yeah. If you talk about the dangers of diabetes, blindness and heart attack and stroke and
I had
kidney
all of
failure,
those, you know, signs that I was headed that direction.
and that was the other thing I was going to ask, if you don't mind, if we talk about. You told me, if I remember right, that prior to the surgery you were having some what's called diabetic neuropathy in your feet.
Yes. Both of my big toes have been completely numb for about 3 years.
So you lost feeling, if I heard you right, you lost feeling in your big toes.
Yes, completely.
And you saw a specialist?
And I saw a specialist, and within a year, he said that the numbness had spread over the whole top of my foot. And he told me in the direction I was going, if it continued that quickly, I'd lose my feet within 10 years. And that was one of the scary things that made me really look into, I've got to get this under control. And in the last couple of months, I have felt a lot of the feeling has come back. In fact, most of the feelings come back over the top of my foot.
So that's improved a bit.
A lot. It's
Okay.
improved a lot. My big toes still have numbness, but that's been 3 or 4 years, you know,
Good.
that they've been completely numb. So,
Well, and
amazing.
what we were taught in medical school, and I think is still true, is that if the diabetes actually kills one of the nerves are something that doesn't grow back. So that if the nerves to the big toes actually were dead and gone, they can't come back to life. On the other hand, we have had diabetics who tell stories like yours. They say, well, I had numbness and it came back. So what we think in that case is, because you can't, according to the latest research, you can't resurrect a nerve cell that's gone. But maybe you had one that was kind of beat up. It wasn't actually, you know, hadn't gone, but it was not working well, so you had numbness maybe in that rest of that foot. And those cells were not actually dead nerves, but they were sick. They're puny.
yeah.
And so
That's
if you had some puny cells that might have been getting worse, maybe we took some of them back from the brink to keep that. So
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what we're
I just couldn't believe I thought I could feel tingling in my feet. This is weird. And I can feel them. I mean, it's almost all the way back across the top of my foot.
good. You know,
That's been amazing.
you have to email me immediately or call me on the phone if we get lucky and the big toes come back.
Okay, I will. I
Yeah,
will.
that'd be
Because
pretty cool.
I check often. That's really fun. Yeah.
Good.
It's been great.
Okay, let's see. Well, that was kind of the most exciting part for me, is to talk to you about your diabetes. And in my past, as a general surgeon, I used to have to see diabetics. They would call general surgeons not for managing the blood sugar and things like that, but when their foot got infected. And they would have to have, you know, parts of it come off.
Right.
That's when they would call us. It's a pretty rough.
Scary. It's really
Yeah,
scary.
it's a
For me, it was scary.
yeah. As a new doctor, you have to learn to get used to tough things. You know, to see blood and infection and things like that. But it's pretty rough to see somebody lose a foot to diabetes. So when you told me that story yesterday, that's where I wanted to ask your permission to share that, because it's pretty exciting to imagine that maybe because of your surgery a year ago, you wouldn't have to face that.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I saved my life. I'm really proud of myself. And really happy with you, so thank you very much.
Well, and a measure of just your feeling about it is your daughter's here, right?
That's right. I
In other
felt
words,
good
you
enough
wouldn't
about it to let
recommend
her
this,
do
and you wouldn't let her do this if you didn't think it was a good idea, right? So that's a
Absolutely not. Yeah.
pretty strong testimonial there. So we're happy that you're here.
Yeah.
We're thankful you're willing to share that with everybody on the internet, so you can wave and say hi to yourself when you watch yourself on your iPod. All right. Well, thank you all very much. That's nice.
Thanks.